Today I'd like to do a flashlight review featuring the Olight S2R Baton II flashlight. A few years back I did a review of the previous Baton series, and now I'm going to do the new and improved version. This one is a nice compact EDC size, has a lot of cool features on it, and the best part about it is that it's rechargeable using the magnetic base and the magnetic charging cable. So for this video we're going to do a deep dive overview of all the features included with this flashlight. We'll do some outdoor testing and we'll also go over the pros and cons. So let's get started now with this video featuring the Olight S2R Baton II flashlight. Let's start going through the high-level features now, starting off first with the size. Again, this is a really good size for EDC purposes. It weighs in at around 3.5 ounces or around 100 grams. It has a length of just under 4 inches or 100 millimeters, and it has a diameter of just under an inch or 23 millimeters. It's slightly smaller than the previous S2R Baton. Let's move on to the lens and LED. This flashlight is designed to be a flood flashlight. It's not a thrower. It's a nice, wide, broad hotspot, and it's good for close-up illumination, for illuminating what's directly in front of you as you're walking, for example. Flashlights come in many different reflector types. Some of them feature a mirror-like reflector to get a good amount of throw. Other ones feature more of an orange peel design to get a good amount of flood. This particular flashlight features what's called a TIR reflector to get that defined wide hotspot. And TIR stands for total internal reflection. So TIR optics consist of a refractive lens inside of a reflector that captures and redirects more light emitted from an LED than a conventional optic, such as a parabolic reflector. It features the luminous SST40 CW LED. For all of you LED nerds out there, Budget Lightform says that the SST40W is very similar to the well-known XML2. The sharply demarcated die sits on a silver-gray ceramic base. A silicone dome covers the LED, which enlarges its surface significantly and increases also the total light flux. The LED is advertised as having a maximum output of 1150 lumens, which is a beam distance of 135 meters or 443 feet. Now you kind of have to take those figures with a grain of salt because again, that's on turbo mode, which only lasts for a couple minutes. And then it's also figuring that it's the bare minimum of the lux meter reading, which is 0.1 lux or 0.2 lux, depending on what kind of lux meter that you have. That's the absolute bare minimum of light that I could get with my tester, and it's not enough to really be able to distinguish what an object is. So for my testing, I've been using 3.2 to 3.4 lux, which is defined as civil twilight, which is the bare minimum where you could actually distinguish what an object is, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more details later on in this video. The Olight S2R Baton II is a rechargeable flashlight, which is really handy. It includes a 3200 milliamp hour 18650 rechargeable lithium battery, which is charged magnetically through the tail cap charging cable. The flashlight features a side switch button for mode operation. There's 3 standard modes: low, medium, and high. You also have turbo, moonlight, and strobe. The flashlight has mode memory for those 3 standard modes, so whatever that last mode that you had it on, low, medium, or high, if you turn the flashlight off, turn it back on, it's going to go right to that mode, which is really handy. You could toggle the modes by long pressing the button, and it'll just start toggling between low, medium, and high. To get to turbo, you're just going to do 2 rapid presses, and it's going to go right to turbo mode. To get to the moonlight mode, from an off state, you're going to long press the side switch, and that's going to take it right to moonlight. To get to the strobe, all you have to do is triple tap the button. So a quick warning for anyone that has problems with strobes. Okay, here it is. So triple tap the button, and you're going to get that strobe mode. There's no SOS or beacon mode with this flashlight, but to be honest, I've never actually used any of those modes for my EDC flashlight. The S2R Baton II features a battery indicator on the side switch, so you always know when it's time to charge. So when it's glowing green, that means you have 70% or more battery left. When it's yellow, that means you're between 15 and 70% charge. And when it's glowing red, that means that you probably have to recharge it. You have less than 15% remaining. There's a few really cool features with this flashlight. The first one being the timer. So you actually have 2 timers to automatically turn off the flashlight. The first one is a long timer at 9 minutes. The other one's a short timer at 3 minutes. So when the flashlight is on, you're going to double click and hold the side switch under the current brightness level to access the timer settings. A single blink accesses the short timer and 2 blinks accesses the long timer. The flashlight will automatically turn off when that timer's up. I did some runtime testing of this using a stopwatch, and it's fairly accurate to within a few seconds. So within a few seconds of 9 minutes and within a few seconds of 3 minutes, it's automatically going to turn off, which is pretty cool. Another cool feature is that it also has a locking mechanism to help prevent accidental activation. That's always been a pet peeve of mine with regard to these side switch mode operation flashlights. So when the flashlight is off, you're going to press and hold the side switch to access the button lockout mode. The flashlight will enter the lowest mode first and then will switch off to signal that it's in lockout mode. At this point, the button will be locked and you won't be able to accidentally activate it when it's in your pocket, for example. To unlock the flashlight, just press and hold the side switch for over 1 second and release it to return to normal functionality. Again, another really cool feature. Let's move on to the body of the flashlight. I really like that it features a very aggressive jimping to it. It'll help it from slipping in your hands, for example, if your hands are wet. It features a 6061-T6 aluminum alloy structure type 3. It also has a stainless steel pocket clip. So that A6061-T aluminum alloy, that's what's used in a lot of bicycle frames and components, many fly fishing reels, the upper and lower receivers for many AR-15 rifle variants, for example. It's also used in aluminum docks, and it could also be used for material in some ultra-high vacuum chambers. So this is good stuff. So when you purchase the flashlight, here's what it comes with. So you get the flashlight, you also get the 3200 milliamp hour battery, you get the MCC II charging cable. Again, MCC stands for magnetic charging cable. You get the user manual, a pouch, a blue pocket clip, which is pre-installed on the flashlight. If that's not your correct gang color, you could always switch it to the black pocket clip, which is inside the package. And then it also comes with a lanyard, which is really nice for EDC purposes. The Olight S2R Baton II has a waterproof rating of IPX8, which is the highest that you'll see for flashlights. That stands for the IP code, or the International Protection Marking IEC standard 60529, which is sometimes interpreted as Ingress Protection Marking. So basically, this flashlight has been tested by the manufacturer and is suitable for continuous immersion in water for generally up to 3 meters for a long period of time. So how they get that specific IPX8 is that you have the ingress protection, and then that first digit is actually for solid particle protection, and the digit is replaced with the letter X when there's insufficient data that's been gathered to assign a protection level. Then that second digit is actually for the water protection, and 8 is the highest that you'll see for flashlights. There's actually a 9K, which stands for powerful high temperature water jets, but I haven't seen that in a flashlight. So IPX8, long story short, is the best that you could get for flashlights. Let's talk in detail about the modes. So again, you have for the standard modes, you have high, medium, and low. High is at 400 lumens, which has a runtime of 4 hours. Medium is at 120 lumens with a runtime of 14 hours. Low is at 15 lumens, which has a runtime of around 4 days or 100 hours. You also have that moonlight mode, which is 0.5 lumens, which could be run for 60 days, which is a long time. And then you have that turbo mode, which is the maximum, which is 1150 lumens. That is only actually run for 2 minutes, and then it drops down to high mode after 2 minutes, which could be run for around 230 minutes. Again, it has a strobe mode, and it doesn't have an SOS or beacon. So to test the lighting levels, I went out to a dark field and I set up some field markers every 10 meters, and I went out to around 100 meters or so, just to get a more accurate representation of how this flashlight illuminates. Again, I don't test for the bare minimum of light, which is 0.1 on the lux meter. I test for around 3.2 to 3.4, which again is twilight illumination, and that's where you're able to actually distinguish what an object is. And so I put it on the field and I went every 5 meters to kind of see how that flood looked. And it has a nice solid beam pattern to it. It's not going to spread out like a triangle. Oftentimes you'll see that on the packaging. It has a very solid beam that's almost like a laser that goes straight through, but really after around 20 meters, you're going to see a dip off where you're going to fall below that 3.2 to 3.4 lux, and you're not going to be able to distinguish what an object is. So you'll see some light out there. You'll see that there's an object there, but you won't be able to tell if it's a person, a dog, or anything like that. So I actually took it out way past 50 meters, for example, and you're still getting some lux readings on the lux meter. It's just not going to be at that twilight illumination. But for me, 20 meters of really good visibility with a high amount of flood is perfect for EDC purposes. So again, I tested this on high mode, which is at 400 lumens. I didn't test on turbo mode just because it only lasts for 2 minutes, and then it drops down to 400 lumens, which is high mode. So I figured that high mode was the best one to use for this scenario. Let's start going through the pros and cons now of the Olight S2R Baton II, starting off first with the pros. So the first pro that I have listed is that it's basically the perfect EDC size. It's not too big and it's not too small. It has a very deep pocket clip for concealed carry, which is also pretty cool. It has a nice amount of flood for EDC purposes. For EDC, you don't really need to have a lot of throw, and this flashlight is plenty bright. It has a very simple charging with that magnetic charging cable. I also like the flat tail cap. You can do a tail stand with it, and you have a very strong magnet on there. So it has a nice aggressive jumping to avoid slipping if your hands are wet. I also really love the timer and locking features, so you're not going to have to worry about accidental activations. I really like the charging indicator light. Again, that's super handy. And then the last pro that I have listed is that magnetic base works great for makeshift mounting. For example, if you're doing engine repair on the side of the road, you could just connect it to the hood of the car and you're able to illuminate what you're working on. And that's all I have listed for the pros. Now let's move on to the cons. I don't have too many cons with this flashlight, but I do have a few. So the first con that I have listed is that it's a little pricey at $70. There's a lot of other flashlights that are available for far less than $70. The second con that I have listed is that you have a proprietary charger cable. And I lost my charger cable for this flashlight after 3 days of testing it, and I eventually had to buy a new one. I have no idea where the original one went, and they cost around $12 to $13 online. I prefer to have a standard USB micro connection for recharging my flashlight. I just think it's easier. If you happen to lose the charger cable, you could always use whatever charger cable is handy. And with this one, again, you have a proprietary charger, so you may want to have to pick up a couple extra ones just in case and keep it in your various bags, for example. And then the last con that I have listed is that I prefer to have a textured button for the switching of on and off, just to be able to find it easier at night without having to look at the flashlight. And that's all I have listed for the cons. That's going to do it for this video featuring the Olight S2R Baton II flashlight. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching it. In summary, this may be the perfect EDC flashlight. It has a nice compact size, has a lot of cool features, and a high quality design. And with that magnetic tail for the charging, it's super easy to keep charged. Just make sure you don't lose the cable like I did. So I've provided all the information regarding this particular flashlight in the description box below. You can check that out. I've also provided a hyperlink to this flashlight if you wanted to purchase one for yourself. So please feel free to leave any kind of comments below in the comments section regarding this video, and I'm also going to be hosting a giveaway contest. So all you have to do is leave a comment below in the comments section. Olight was kind enough to donate another one of the S2R Baton flashlights to one of my viewers. So leave a comment below in the comments section. I'll be selecting a random comment after 24 hours of the posting of this video. I'll be contacting you, and then Olight will send you that flashlight directly. So that's a nice plus. So again, leave those comments below in the comments section, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this review of the Olight S2R Baton II flashlight. See you guys next time.